they're not maximizing. So, people book their flights, they use points, but the thing is, they could book way more flights. They could be doing it in such a better way. So, it's when I started getting down this rabbit hole when I was renovating my first house, I was scared to death of credit cards. So, I had this guy on Bigger Pockets. I was trying to figure out how to be able to renovate this house and, come up with the $40,000. And what he said is, "Hey, you should just do this on credit." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm like, credit cards are evil. I'm the Dave Ramsey all the way." And he started saying, "No, no, it's super simple." He's like, "Here's what you do. You open up this card. Once you get the points, or once you hit the 3 months and hit the minimum spend," he said, "then you open up this business card, and then after you hit the minimum spend on that, uh, you increase the available credit up to 30,000, and then you can, renovate your house because you'll have the available credit to do that." I said, "No way, that's so cool." And he said, "If you do it right, you'll be able to get a free vacation out of it." So that's where I started. I had no credit cards, I had nothing, I was scared to death of it. But this really opened up my eyes, and I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to um, or yeah, basically this one podcast that broke it down. It's a podcast full of moms, just three moms talking about travel hacking. So I got into that and I said, "Oh, tons of people do this. It's pretty safe." And I'm going to get into that here. So, starting off, we did the travel hacking thing. We started renovating houses. We opened up cards, and we ended up getting 8 days in Hawaii for only $66.80. And that $66 included hotels, flights, and our rental car for the entire 8 days. So, the breakdown of how that looks and why you're using points, we saved a total of $6,165.18 over that entire week by using the points. So for the hotels, we had two or three free nights just because we had a certain card. And then we used the points that we accumulated to be able to cover the rest of those nights. For the rental car, we had a lot of, we had some extra points. And I said, "Well, I really don't want to come out of pocket for a rental car." So I said, "Is there a way to be able to do this in points as well?" Turns out there is. We were able to save almost $470 off of that. And then flights is the biggest one because we're over in North Carolina. Being able to fly out to Hawaii, we got to fly almost halfway around the world, it feels like. And we were able to book all of that on points. So the $66.80, that was from booking the flights because we say not traveling for free, but traveling for nearly free because it's not everything. There's still maybe a couple fees in there, mainly with the flights, never really with never with the hotels. So the flights are the only thing that costed money. So for me and my wife, we actually got engaged on this trip. Super cool. And we spent $66 for hotels, rental car, flights, and then the points we used were only 348,000 points, and that's a lot. But we're going to be able to show you how to be able to get those points and do it rather quickly. So we saved a little over 6,000 for that entire trip just because of the points. So let's go into the biggest misconceptions because I know a lot of people come from different places, whether that's money thoughts, credit, their, Dave Ramsey pictures are on their walls. The biggest thing is it hurts my credit. If you're paying off your credit card every single month, you're not leaving a balance on it, you're not accruing interest, it is not going to hurt your credit. The only thing that it does when you're signing up for the card, yes, it does take a few points off, but you going from a 783 credit score down to a 780 is not destroying your credit. And by paying off those cards every single month, it actually improves your credit because you're showing that you're a responsible user. You're not spending $20,000, you're not going over your limit. If you use it like your normal debit card and pay it off, every 2 weeks and you're paying it off every single month, there's not going to be any impact to your credit other than just 2-3 points for registering the card, but then that comes back to you and more. The next thing is, why should I pay an annual fee for my credit card? So the one I referred Jeff to, it's only when you sign up for the card, they give you an annual fee. So for that card specifically, and I'll talk about it later, that's $95. And people think, oh my gosh, why would I pay $95 for this credit card? Well, it's because you get about $1,200 worth of points if you use them for credit. So that's like saying you're paying $95 to get back about $1,200 in value. And that's if you're using it correctly. And that's why I do these presentations, because we get to show you, hey, there's so many benefits to having these cards if you're using them correctly. So a lot of us are probably real estate investors, higher spenders, and we're spending a ton of money per week on renovations, on, in just our daily lives, that you might as well be earning something along with that, because if you're just using a debit card, you're not getting anything. So being able to just use a credit card, you're able to accumulate those points, you're able to get those free vacations. That's why you pay the annual fee, because it's worth so much more if you know how to use it. So something else that was brought up is, I want write-offs for my taxes, so I don't need a travel hack. So this can be debatable. If you're a high spender and you truly do need those write-offs for your taxes, then keep doing your thing. But when you're using points, you aren't able to write that off. But like I said, on our trip out to Hawaii, we saved $1,500 to be able to go travel. And by using the points, we were able to do that because that was our normal spending. We spent money on a renovation, we get all these points back, we booked the flights to Hawaii, we get $1,500 off that we didn't have to spend. So on your taxes, when you're trying to write off that expense, say, hey, we wrote off $1,500 for our taxes. I'm not a CPA and I don't want to be, but there's definitely better ways to be able to write off on your taxes that are going to be able to benefit you more, other than, you're traveling. And that can be debatable, but that's just my opinion of it. There's so many different ways, because I think people spend way too much time trying to figure out how to write off their dog on their taxes than they would actually something that's going to benefit them in the longer route. So why do I need more than one card? Because if you're playing the points game, you're just trying to travel, whether that's, traveling to see your kids, whether that's staying in hotels at night because you don't want to stay with the in-laws. You're able to use these points to be able to do that. It doesn't have to be going to Europe or Egypt or Dubai like my wife wants to. You can be just going to spend more time with your family, and you're able to do that really affordably or free with these points. So being able to have more than one card is going to allow you to do that. The travel moms say using one card, they call it the slow burn. You're going to accumulate very, very slow. If you think about your own personal expenses, let's just say you spend $2,000 a month, you're probably going to be only getting 3,000 to 4,000 points per month. That's going to be really, really slow, to where these cards, where they give you the welcome bonuses, if you spend this certain amount in this 3 months, then you're going to be able to get 60,000 points. And that's going to go way farther than taking a whole year to be able to accumulate those points. So those are the biggest misconceptions, mainly about the credit, annual fee, and then taxes was a new one, but having more than one card, it scares people a little bit, but later on, we're going to show you how to be able to keep these organized for yourself. So let's talk about the biggest benefits of points and miles. So it's, like I was saying earlier, it's major savings on flights and hotels. Like I said, we saved $1,500 just on the flights, and that can be going to anywhere. And I'm going to show you the website that we use to be able to plug it in, and we can see what points we have, and then it's going to tell us the best flight and the best airline to be able to go choose from, as well as hotels. And that's going to be able to save you a ton. Points are earned on normal spending, so you don't have to go out and do anything crazy, because it tells you before you sign up for the card how much you need to spend within those certain period of months to be able to get those points. So you're not going to be overspending to try and get those points. But if you're doing renovations, you're already putting a lot of dollars in for that month. You're going to hit it no problem. Just make sure you're paying it off. So a lot of cards, or hotel brands, I know Hyatt for certain, they lead to free nights. And the more you use them, the more your benefits you're going to be able to be, because it's based on a status. So for Hyatt, for us, we've earned, just for opening up the card, we got 1 free night. So we used that on the trip to Hawaii. And then over this past year, we've been using it for our renovations. So we've gotten over 100,000 points. And then in that process, we've earned 3 free nights just by using the card and hitting certain barriers. And that doesn't cost me anything else, just because I'm using it as my normal spending. So free nights are huge. I know Marriott's a big one, Hyatt's a big one, and we'll talk about that later on, how to be able to pick those cards and the best transfer partners. Airport lounge access. If you guys haven't been to airport lounges, they're awesome. Free food, there's free drinks, free alcohol that you can go to the bar while you're waiting for your flight. It actually makes you want to go to the airport earlier. They're super cool to stay in if they have the availability. So those are really cool, especially if you're doing a lot of flying. You don't have to sit and eat the $35 cheeseburger or, the $15 coffee. It's easier just to go into the lounge where you're already getting access to and be able to get that for free. So status with the hotels and airlines. We all love being able to board earlier on the flights. We know where our bags are. That's always super, super cool. And then if you're flying by yourself, you can even bump up to first class, and it's not going to cost you any more money because you're using those points. And then hotels, using those as your high spending cards, you're going to be able to earn those free nights as well as those upgrades. Hyatt, they have something called Globalist, or these different levels to where you're able to get snacks throughout the day. You're able to upgrade. We did it at Hawaii. We just asked, we said, hey, we have this card. Are we able to upgrade our suite? And we ended up with an ocean view for that week that we were staying there. So super cool, but you're getting that access because you're spending money with them and using their card. So being able to have that status is really cool, especially if you really love a hotel brand, or if you're going to travel and just want a bigger, or see if you can upgrade your room, and there's ways to be able to do that. But that's one of those biggest benefits of the points and miles. And if you guys have questions anytime through, just pop in. It'll be easier to, I would say after this one, we can answer any questions, but I got a couple more slides. So where do you start on this? So let's just say you've maybe, for example, have one card. Let's say you're using a Delta Airlines card, or you have no credit cards to begin with. So these two banks are the easiest to be able to start, and that's American Express and Chase Bank. So I'm going to start with American Express first, because the biggest thing with these two banks, they have the most travel partners. So these points are worth a lot more than if you were to go and say, open up a Delta card, because you can transfer, say you only need 30,000 points to be able to book this flight on Delta, and you have, you need 30,000 points and you have 60 in your Chase account. Well, you can only transfer just, 30 points. You don't have to transfer all of them and have extra points sitting there. So these are able to be transferred in between these different hotel and flight brands. So they give you the maximum value for what you're spending. So starting on American Express Gold, this was my first card, and this the minimum spend, you have to spend $6,000 within 6 months. So that's very, very achievable, and you're going to hit that a lot sooner. So you're spending only $1,000 a month, and you can do that right on your personal expenses, and it's going to do nothing. And if you're paying it off every single month, or I like to do every 2 weeks, if you're paying that off, it's not going to impact your credit. You're going to be able to hit that minimum spend, and then you're going to be able to get that 100,000 point welcome bonus, and that is a $1,300 value because of all those other things that you get with it, such as You get Uber credits. You get I think with different shopping, you get some different credits as well. The Amex Platinum, once you upgrade, that's a $3,000 value, but that's down the line. So if you're starting from nothing, start with these two cards, because what you're doing is you're building a relationship with the bank, and you're showing, hey, I'm a responsible spender, and then they're going to be able to start referring you cards. So after opening this Amex Gold, after about a month, you're probably going to get some different things in the mail saying, hey, now you can open this card, now you can open this card. But being able to start with that gold, you're able to hit an easy minimum spend, and then later on, after about a year, you're able to actually upgrade that card for a much bigger point bonus with the platinum. So start with the gold, make sure you're paying it off every single month, and you're going to be able to hit that welcome bonus. And then normally about 3 months down the line, you're able to open up the next one. So the travel moms, they love Chase. So Chase Bank, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, is one of those other cards that's an easy starter card. So the reason the travel people, they say start with Chase first, it's really just depends on what you like. But normally, if you're in this game to play the points and miles game, they would say start with Chase first. Because if you're opening Amex first, or if you go with Amex first, it's a little bit harder to open those Chase cards later on the line. So being able to start with Chase and then move over to American Express has been a little bit easier once you start doing it at volume or more cards. But on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, it is a little bit of a higher minimum spend, but for shorter months. So the 5,000 minimum spend in the 3 months, you're able to get 75,000 point welcome bonus. So the first thing you're seeing is, oh, well, I want 100,000 points versus the 75. Well, they're all valued differently. All of these different cards, all of these different banks value their points differently. So let's just say for American Express, if I get 100,000 points on this card, I'm able to transfer it to a certain hotel, Hilton, and they give you 2x. So let's say I transfer all of my points, and I can book, then I have 200,000 Hilton points. But you're not able to just book or Hilton, when you're booking in their hotel, their points are a lot more. So it might be 300,000 to be able to book on there, where it might be for the same stay, same days at Hyatt, maybe 25,000 points. So they're all valued differently, but these two brands, you're able to transfer out, and you're able to use those points more than if you were just stuck in one single airline or one single hotel. So these two are the best to start with. I would start with the Sapphire Preferred, and I have a link if you guys are interested. I can put in the WhatsApp chat at the end of this if you guys are interested. So one more thing before we hop off of this is beware of the 524 rule. So this is the Chase 5 cards in 24 months rule. So there is a difference between business and personal cards, but for Chase, and it's kind of a widespread rule, is that you're only allowed to open 5 personal cards within 24 months. So this is where the strategy really comes in. And if you want to keep it simple, just don't open more than 5 cards or 5 personal cards in 24 months. And if you're thinking about it, it's like, well, I'm going to run out pretty quick. That's when the business cards start to move in. So I'm not going to dive too much into the business cards, but I will touch on it a little bit later. So make sure that you're staying under that 5 personal card rule under those 24 months. So let's just say you open one today, and then in 2 years, 2 years and 1 month, now you're able to go open another personal card. So they track it. I don't know if it's just the dark web that they track it. We have no idea, but they do. That is something to be aware of. So talking about the transfer partners, why we start with Chase and American Express. I also throw in Capital One in there, but here's all the travel partners that you can transfer to just by having one of these 3 transfer partners. So starting with Chase, you have quite a bit. And then with American Express, you're able to add in all of these. So being able to partner with those 2 Banks, you're able to get all of these transfer partners. Now, they all value the points a little bit differently, but you see how many options you have by, instead of saying you open a Hilton card or you open a Delta card, your points would be stuck there. They wouldn't be able to move to Avianca, Hawaiian Airlines. They would be just stuck in Delta. To where if you have more Chase or American Express, you can go here, you can go here, you can go to hotels. You can use your points in so many different ways that is why Chase and American Express are so valuable, along with Capital One. So being able to start with Chase, being able to build up your points, you're able to then transfer out. You're able to do so much more. So you guys can screenshot that. So many different ways, and we can. Here is how you're going to be able to book your points. So where do you go to book your points? Oh, I just go to the Chase portal. So you're going to be spending more points there. So being able to go on this website called Points, you can make an account. It's free. You're going to be able to use it a lot easier. It saves your flights. But the best thing is it's free. So we did this with Jeff as well. And I said, tell me where you're going. Tell me the dates. And we just typed it in there like you would normally do on Google. And then all of those travel dates, all of those partners, airlines, start to show up. So once they start showing up, you're able to see, okay, well, let's say I don't have Capital One points, so I'm able to go up into this box and deselect Capital One points. Deselect any of the points you don't have. So let's just say you only have American Express. You can deselect everything and see how you're able to book those flights with American Express points. And then let's just say, for example, you have American Express and we need to transfer it over to Avianca. Something you don't have, it's like, well, I don't have that. I don't really want to make an account. So it's super simple. All you do is make the account on Avianca. You transfer the points from American Express to there, and you're able to book right on their portal. So step one is going to be typing in those travel dates for the flights or hotels, where you're staying, times, dates, and everything. And then you're able to go a little bit deeper and select the options with the points and miles that you have. So like I was saying, if you have American Express points, deselect everything. If you have a little bit of Chase, a little bit of Amex, you're able to select those two, and it's going to be able to find the best deal for you. But the main part of this is to be able to go to the website of the partner to book those flights, to book that hotel, because the website does, I think they have a link that you can click on and it goes right there to be able to book it, but it's kind of like the normal flights to where it starts to add on. So it's maybe just a little bit more expensive. So don't use the link from Points to book. Figure out where you need to go, figure out where you need to transfer your points, and then go directly to that site to be able to book those flights. So we did this last night because we're going to Mexico here in a couple weeks, and we had 3 free nights for Hyatt Hotel, and we're like, let's do something fun. It'll be super easy. It's a nice little vacation. So we booked our 3 free nights for Hyatt over down in Mexico, and we were figuring out the flights. So all I had to do was go into Points. I said, here's where we're flying in from. It gives us plenty of different options. It shows the travel time, shows everything. And it showed us like Chase, Amex, Capital One, and all of these other different point transfer partners. And we were just able to select. We went back over to the Delta website to be able to book it directly. So we didn't use the link. Any questions so far? All right, so let's go into the final tip. So like I said earlier, it's best to wait about 3 months in between of opening the cards, just because you're not sending up the red flags from the banks, because some people want to get in and they want to open up 3 or 4 cards per month just because they have the ability to. That's not recommended. Make sure you're using those 3 months in between opening, because that's going to be able to help the bank refer you more cards and be able to keep those it's just going to help you with the bank. So being able to wait the 3 months, open up the card, make sure you get the bonus, just wait around those, 90 days, and then you can open up your next card, whether that's business or personal. Major thing here is do not overspend to get the points. So this is the biggest part of this, because if you're not financially responsible, this is not the game to be playing. Because if you are not paying off those cards, that's where it starts to impact your credit. If you're paying them off, perfect, fine, not going to impact you at all, but make sure you're paying off those cards or it will start to hurt you. At the end of the day, they are your points. Spend them how you want. There's many ways to be able to use these points. Me and my wife personally like to use them for travel. We want to go travel the world and go to Egypt and Dubai and all these super cool places like the Maldives in Hawaii. And we're able to use them for travel, and we get the maximum value for our points, and we see that using them for travel. Some people like to just reimburse themselves, but say that I can get, $6,000 worth of travel, where if I was just reimbursing myself, it would probably be closer to about $500. So that's why using them for travel is so much more important if you're trying to maximize them, and even just saving them, because you're able to book a really nice vacation just on the points you're already accumulating by using those cards. And last but not least, where do you track all these cards? So I have about, I want to say 13 to 15 open right now, and that's chaos. Like, how do you keep track of that? Well, this app called Travel Freely. So it's an app and it's a website. You're able to download that app, you make your account, it's all free, and they're actually able to refer you cards. So let's just say after this, you go and open up the Chase Sapphire. So what you'll do is after you've downloaded your Travel Freely account, you've opened it up, you can go in there and you can select the Chase Preferred or Chase Sapphire Preferred. Click on it and it'll tell you the date that you opened it, and it'll make sure to send you alerts when that 3-month minimum spend is coming up. So it's going to be able to send you those reminders. It's going to track it. It's going to show when you opened it, when you hit the bonus, and then it'll say, hey, you're ready to sign up for your next card. And you're able to have so many different options, and you can see all the different cards, all the different transfer partners on there through that app. And you're going to be able to see which works best for you, because not all cards are the same. There's so many different, let's just say for the American Express Platinum card versus the Gold card. The personal Gold, you're able to get multipliers off of the groceries that you buy. You're able to get, I think, 4 or 5x, where on the personal Platinum, that's more for travel, so you're going to get 1x those points. So let's just say you go to the store, you spend $100 on groceries, you use your Gold card, you're able to get 400 points off of that purchase, to where if you use your Platinum Personal, you're only getting 100 points. So learning to play the game, you're able to use those more for your strategy and your personal spending, but you're able to see all of that on the Travel Freely app. So definitely download it, definitely explore it, see what works best for you. So I think that's all I got here, but the podcast that I learned all of this from was Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Super, super good podcast. It's just a couple moms and a grandma talking about travel. They've been doing lately a lot more about their latest trip. So go on there, see if it's something up your alley. But in the beginning episodes, I would say like 1 through 20 to 30, they really break down the cards and how you're able to use them. So I started listening when they first kind of started, and that's how I was able to, get over my fear of the credit cards, because I, listen to them break this down every single day. And then over here on the right, the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast, that's my podcast. I'm just documenting my personal journey in real estate and business. So you can go and listen there. It's got me from when I quit my job about a little over a year and a half ago at this time, to buying my first flip, to going through buying multiple flips, going through a rough partnership, and then all the way to now where I'm interviewing high-level investors like Jeff and Lexi. We had a wholesaler on there. We had a guy who's bought 7 or 8 boutique hotels. So just being able to expand there and document my journey if you're interested in that. And then if you want to connect with me, Instagram and TikTok are where I post every single day at chris.rickenbaugh. So connect with me there. All right, so that's all I got for you guys, but I'll open the floor for some questions.
Unreal, dude. Chris, like you guys, this is why I wanted to have you on, man. Like, and that's super cool, that travel mom squad thing. I think that's super rad that um, that you learned from that. And I think that's for me too, honestly, dude, that's exactly where I'm at. So we can get into conversation with that right now. And you guys are welcome. You can just unmute or whatever you guys want to do. And we could just have open conversation here. Sorry again, like I know it's kind of lame we can't all see each other. I honestly don't like that. But um, for me, okay, so just what I learned, yeah, I would say my nerves are like, okay, how do I track those cards? The systems and the apps and stuff you're showing are super smart, and that simplifies it for me. But um,
Yeah.
the how much time, like I guess for you, right? So as you are, go on Travel Freely, or you're inputting all this information for each card, what does that take for you to do? Like, is it quite a bit of like stuff you got to input on these things, and then once you get the cards, do you keep them all in your wallet? Do you put them on a shelf and just use the digital card? Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna pull that up for you guys so you can see how the website looks. So I'll pull up Points Yeah and Travel Freely because I talked about it. So since you're asking about Travel Freely, what I do, it's super easy to be able to track the cards. It shows you the bonus points. Um, so let me share my screen here.
Cool.
But as for the actual cards, I only really keep the ones that I'm using on me personally because that gets a little hectic. Your wallet gets full. So what I kind of do is once I'm done using it, I just have an envelope and I write down the last four digits of that credit card number. I put the date it was opened, or I write down what it is, the last four digits, and the expiration date, so that say there's 15 or 20 cards in there. I don't have that many, but say there's that many cards in there, I can look through and I can just, it's very easily documented that all of those cards are in there. So if I'm pulling it or taking some out, taking some in, that's where that card goes. Just simplifies it a little bit more. But on the Travel Freely app, if all you guys can see my screen, Jeff, can you see it?
Yeah, yeah, we got you.
Cool, cool. So this is what it looks like. I normally use the app. It's a little bit thinner and it's a little bit easier to track. But so up here, bonus points, cash value, trips taken. So I don't really do any of that on there. I just want to track wherever I open up the cards. So I can see here my active cards. So I'm just going to click on view cards here, and it's able to show me all of the cards that I have open. So it's going to show their date opened. It's going to show the bonus that I got, the minimum spend that you had to be able to get, and it's going to show a bonus deadline if they offer it. Normally, I don't go for that. It's going to show your annual fee and then the annual fee due date. So super, super easy to be able to track on there. So we got a couple open, and it's, yeah, just super easy to track on that side of things. And then if
Okay,
you're looking for a card to open, you go to the Card Genie. It says number one card for beginners. Um, View the offers, and then you can go down here, and it shows you all the cards that you're available to open.
okay, so once those are all in travel, so Travel Freely is kind of offering two things. It's offering you like a place to store all your cards as far as like when you need to make sure you use your or get the amount you need to pay off. What did you call that? The minimum spend or whatever?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay. So it tracks that for you. It like alerts you, I'm assuming, like on your phone or whatever. It says, hey, you got 30 days left or something like that to use.
yep.
Okay.
You'll get a notification whether you've hit it or not. It's up to you to be able to go into the app and say, "Hey, I've already hit it." But it'll pop up on your phone and say, "Hey, you're 30 days away."
Gotcha.
So super
Okay.
easy.
Okay, so once it's so it does that, but then it also looked like you just said that Card Genie, that's part of Travel Freely. It just gives you introductory cards or kind of like recommends the next steps for you. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so if you're looking for something specific, this is what pops up. But let's just say we're looking for um, a certain category. So there's definitely different categories. There's travel rewards, building credit, airline, hotel, cashback, 0% APR, student, and business cards. So let's just pick on a hotel card. And now we're able to pull up all of the different hotel cards, whether it's American Express, Chase, Visa Signature, that's Chase. And then you're able to see exactly what you want. So, like I said, it's probably not best in the beginning to be able to open up those hotel cards first. So, I would say travel rewards would probably be the big one because now you have the Amex Gold. Capital One Venture X is another big one because you're going to be able to get that introductory, and they're also pretty high bonuses to be able to get in there.
Okay, it looks like we got a message from Cassie. Do you add your wife as a user? Oh, this is a good one, dude, because we were
Oh,
talking about this. Yes. Uh,
ooh, I forgot to bring
yeah,
that up. So,
good question, Cassie.
oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, so you do, that was in the things not to do. I don't know if I skipped that slide. I think I axed that slide
Okay, I
during
was
the
gonna say I don't remember
beginning.
seeing it, but
But so what we do is we do not add your partner um, as an authorized user. So if we go back to the 524 rule, so every time you open up a personal card that goes on your 524, so if you add your spouse as an authorized user, that takes up one of their 5 and 24 spots. But what you need to do is you can open up that card. So, like, let's just say Jeff opens a Chase card, the Sapphire Preferred. What he can do is he can actually there's a spot on there somewhere in the bank. You're able to refer that card to your spouse. So Jeff can refer the card to Lexi, so he can get the 60,000 points. He can refer the card to her, and she gets the 60,000 points. And Jeff is going to get 20,000 after she hits her minimum spend for referring her. So that's how all of these points really build up is through being able to maximize that minimum spend and then just being able to refer your partner because that's what they call your player two. Yeah, that was a big one that I missed on the slides, but thank you for
dude,
bringing that up.
yeah, that's so okay. So your wife's got a stack of cards too, along with you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So is that like, is it depend? Are there some cards that you just have, or do you do it with pretty much every card?
I'm deep enough in it now to where I'm not getting uh, like the regular cards to open. Um, yeah, I have quite a few. I've just kind of used the same ones. We've been figuring out our business stuff a little bit, so I just haven't been too deep into it. But in the beginning, we were kind of had the strategy. So I went the Amex route to where I had the personal gold, then I had the business, blue business, and then I had the blue business cash. And so I hit those minimum spends, and that's when I started getting into Chase and Hyatt and all the smaller brands because you're going to run out of personal cards eventually. That's when after you get the Chase Sapphire Preferred, if you stay in there, you would get. I would personally go to the Chase Ink Business. There's one that's 0% APR for 12 months. It's I think it's the unlimited. And then so you go to that one. That's your first business card. You sign up for it just like you would for your personal card. You don't need a fancy business name. You just put in your personal expenses. Say you're a sole member, and you're able to get qualified for that card. And
Gotcha.
that's what leads to the bigger bonuses. So when what's really big is the personal cards. Let's just say for the American Express Gold, you get 100,000 membership points for the personal gold. But if you sign up for the business gold, it's like 150 or more.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to ask you two things. One, um, can you take us through, because this was my thing, and I think you heard that when I was talking to you about us getting involved in this. I'm like, okay, when can I use it now? Because I'm one of those people. I'm like, I need to know, I need to have it now. Um, how long does that take? Okay, right? Like, what I mean by that is like, so I just got set up with this preferred card or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I get, I think I can't remember what it was, 80,000 points or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Um, and but you have to spend, I think it was $5,000 or whatever within the 3 months, right? So if I was to get the card and right away go out and drop 5,000 on it, do I get the points right away, or does it take like a month or two for the points to roll in? How does that? Does it depend on cards?
Yeah, so I'll answer that and then I'll answer Doug's question.
Okay.
So yes, you get the points pretty quickly. I think it's within 3 to 5 days at the most. Sometimes it's a lot quicker. So it's pretty quick. But you can't just spend, you have to pay it off to be able to get those points.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Then answering Doug's question, so if I'm not using certain cards that have annual fees, do you ever close the cards and downgrade to a no annual card fee? No. So this was in my slide of what not to do that I think it got I don't know how that one got deleted, but it was that was a really big one in there because no, you don't close the cards after getting the points because those banks can claw back those points if you're deleting them because it's showing that you're gaming the system. So what you want to do if you're like, hey, I have like six to eight cards open, like I'm not using this one at all. We just got it for the points. You're probably going to want to use your Chase Preferred for a lot of your spending because you get some different multiples. But let's just say you open like a Wells Fargo Active Cash card and you're like, dude, I don't use this thing at all. What you can do and if you want to cancel it, I don't use this thing at all, is after 1 year of having that card, what you do is it's going to charge that annual fee to your account. So let the annual fee hit. But, about a week or two later, you have to call into the bank and say, hey, I'm looking to cancel this card. And most of the time, what the banks do, we've had this done with Chase and Amex, will call and say, hey, we're thinking about canceling this card. So the banks lose money when you do that. So what they normally do is say, hey, well, instead of canceling it, would we be able to give you 25,000 points for spending $1,000 in the next 3 months? And you say, no, I'd either like to cancel it or yeah, that sounds good to me, and you can spend $1,000 and get more points.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you don't want to typically cancel cards.
Right. So
Okay.
canceling cards is what can impact your credit score
Got it.
because it's
Okay.
going to show that you're opening and closing, and that, yes, that could have some effect on your credit score. So you want to leave them open. If you really, really, really want to cancel it, I don't recommend it unless you're um, just have a lot open. You're like, dude, I don't touch this thing at all. Then wait a year, let the annual fee hit, then call into the bank, and they'll probably give you a referral to say, hey, if you keep using it, we'll give you some points, some more points, or then you can go ahead and close it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Because that was kind of a question of mine too. And I think you and I talked about that. Was like, okay, if I have, all these cards or whatever, and I don't want to pay the annual fees anymore, should I cancel them? So that's an interesting one. Okay. One question, then we'll go to Ty's question here. So annual fees, I did
Mm-hmm.
see some of them could be $90 a month, and some of them could be like 1,000 or like 895 or whatever that is a month. That seems like a lot. So what is the value you're getting out of that? Because that was interesting. You said like, yeah, you have to pay an annual fee, but if it's like $150 a year, but you're getting like $1,000 of value. How do you one use that value and keep track of it, and then is there value in paying more for that annual fee? Like, is it $8.95 versus $150 a month or a year? Is there a huge difference there in points and stuff?
So yeah, for annual fees, I wanted to touch on that in the beginning because that's what hangs people up. Like, why would I want to spend $100 if I'm only getting this? Well, you're spending $100 and you're getting $1,000 worth of value if you're using them correctly. And that's mainly for the travel. So if you're spending $100 to get $1,000 back using those, then it's 100% worth it. So the Chase or the Amex Platinum Business, that's the one with about the highest spend. There's one card out there that's a little bit crazier, but with the Amex Platinum, so that's $895 for the business. So that's a lot, especially if you have multiple. So I have 3 of them, but you also get about 200,000 worth of points, which ends up equaling over $3,000 worth of value. So I pulled it up here on my phone because I just want to walk you through some of the benefits on the business to make sure, just to show you kind of how those membership rewards work, because the benefits are insane. Let me pull it up here.
While you're pulling that up, Ty actually had just a statement. She was just saying canceling will impact your credit because it's tied your available credit overall score. So yeah, so don't cancel.
Yes. All right. So here we got it pulled up here on the business. We have you have a Dell Technologies credit. You have a $250 Adobe. You get Hilton Honors Gold, $200 Hilton Statement credit. You get instant access into the Amex airport lounges.
Wow. Okay. So
there's a lot more. I'm trying to pull it up. I thought I was going to say it on the app.
no, you're good, dude. But yeah, I get it. Like that's the thing, right? That's so you're getting that value if you use it, and that's what I think you said is the key thing. Like you were telling me with that one, like you'll get Uber bucks or all this stuff, and most people don't use that. I even think you said you had YouTube TV or something with a discount.
So I got it. Yeah, I got it pulled up here. So let's just say for the Amex Business Platinum, since that's the highest one, it's an $850 in value to the Global Lounge Collection. So you get instant access to the Centurion lounges into any of the airports that have them. You get $600 hotel credits for fine hotels and resorts, $200 Uber cash per year. So you get $15 per month and then $20 bonus in December. $120 Uber One credit, $200 airline fee credit, $550 with fine hotels and resorts, $209 Clear Plus credits, $400 for dining, $400 Resi credit, $300 digital entertainment credits. So that's where you start to get into like the YouTube, TV, and Disney Plus, shopping and benefits, up to $300 Lululemon credit, $75 a quarter, $155 Walmart Plus credit, and then up to $100 Shop Saks credit, so $50 every 6 months.
That's dude. It's just that's so again. So my thing is, Chris, is like how do you make sure you utilize that? Is that all through the Travel Freely app? It'll just remind you, or do they send you messages like, "Hey, you got a credit," and then is it like a pain, like where it's like, "Yeah, you got a $10 Uber credit, but you have to like go on here to claim it, and then you have to upload this thing to here." Like, you know
No,
what I mean?
so for the Uber one, that's probably the easiest one to use. All you do is go in the app, you link your account to Lululemon, or you put in your email. They're not going to send you a bunch of crap. They're able to just link it. So for Uber, all you do is put your card in for wherever you go to pay, and it automatically uploads that $15 every month. and you can use that however you want, whether that's normal Uber, Uber Eats, super easy, you get a free lunch or a quick free dinner. And then being able to keep up with those credits. So there's nothing that really shows you which ones you've used unless you're going into the app and seeing it. But the banks are giving you those credits because they know you're not going to probably use all of them. And most of the time, people don't even know they're getting those credits, so they're just paying them an almost $900 fee for that card, and they're not getting all of the value out. So that's why when you really break down the cards, you're able to go to these websites and see that you have all of this value if you use it. Yeah, I'm sure everybody in here would want $75 to Lululemon every quarter, but if you don't look into it, you have no idea if that possibility is even there or that benefit is even there. So it's 100% worth looking into it if you're going to start playing this game, because that's where you're going to get all of your value back. So you spend 900, you get 300 in Lululemon, you get, a couple $100 to get Disney Plus for free. So much value. You just got to know it's there. You can do your homework a little bit.
I love it, dude. Okay, cool. Well, man, we might need to do another call because I think right now a lot of people's heads are spinning. So y'all that are still on right now, you guys see down below, I don't know if you're on your phone or on your computer, but there's all the little things at the bottom that say like mark, clip, mic, cam, speaker, react, raise a hand, all that stuff. Do you guys see that? Okay, if you do, I want you to go to the react button, okay? And there's thumbs up, and I don't see a thumbs down. I'm not doing this for Chris. Obviously, Chris gets thumbs ups all day long because that was flipping awesome. So if you guys wouldn't mind, two things. So obviously, let's give thumbs up to Chris for all this because seriously, dude, you did an incredible job, brother. You really did. Like, I love the whole idea of travel hacking. And like you said, I think a lot of investors or business owners and stuff like that, we're always traveling. I know right here, like Ty, Craig, I'd say pretty much all of us on here have all traveled and travel a lot. So it's very nice to have some hacks and things we can do. The fees and the things I learned about, that's interesting because my wife's always fighting me on like, I don't want to pay annual fees. I don't want to pay annual fees. And I'm like, yeah, but I think you get all these bonuses. I love the way you said that. Like, yeah, if you spend this much and you use it, you get more than enough back, but most people don't use it. So the keys are, Chris aligned you guys with the knowledge of how to do it, but then also gave you the tools to do it, right? So if we use those tools and the knowledge you just gave us, like this will become, Chris, like for me right now, it's a little bit overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I think it might've been for you. And I think most of us on here, we see that, but the light at the end of the tunnel is nice. And it's like, whoa, dude, you can literally, like you did, flew to Hawaii and had that whole trip and it cost you like nothing. And that makes everybody on here, including me, jealous. So, hey guys, so if you can give me a thumbs up or give me like one of these faces, if you don't like Riverside. So this is a don't like Riverside. This is a I like Riverside. So I'm trying, the reason we're using Riverside right now is because it records and it does a really good job of recording, but I don't like, me personally, I don't like the fact that I can't see everybody. I feel weird. So if is anybody still out there? Maybe not.
I think if you're doing it on a podcast, it's going to work really, really well.
Yeah.
But if you're, because there's probably a button, because when I was on with Tony and Ashley, they had like all three of us on there to where you could see it. So you might have to play around with it. Okay. So it's really good for podcasting. I think Zoom, if you're doing like a bigger call, would work a little bit better.
Yeah.
Might be biased.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we might have to switch to. I just got to find a way to record them. So let me see. I got a bunch of stuff in the chat I just saw. Esteban, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Everybody's saying do not. No Riverside. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you. All right. Heard. But seriously, man, yeah, Chris, this is awesome. I really, good for podcasting now. Yeah, I get it. Dude, I really appreciate it. You guys, Chris is also on the WhatsApp group. He's got a lot of projects going on right now as an investor. So if anybody has capital want to bring to him or like do deals with him, he's very active. He loves getting into all kinds of crazy stuff. I was going to bring up your project you're recently looking into. I think it's super smart, but another day for that. But dude, thank you. Like you guys, here's the thing. This is Chris is just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. Obviously, he didn't get anything out of this. Okay, he's not getting like we're not paying him and all that stuff. So it's just let's appreciate these people for doing these things and teaching us about these things. I think it's incredible. And that's what makes this community run so stinking well. Is so many people will just have these ideas and bring them up, and we can all sit on here as sponges and absorb it. So also with that said, let's be not just a sponge, right? Let's contribute where we can. So all you guys out there have knowledge. Everybody has something to bring to the table. If there's some hack or some cool thing you're working on and you want to throw it out there, hit me up on WhatsApp and we can get you on the call and we can do something about it. So with that said, I got awesome stuff coming up. Geofencing. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. Ty, you might have heard about that being your military. But geofencing is something we're going to have a call, I think, in December with a good friend of mine that does that. It's incredible if you're looking at marketing and stuff like that. And also, people were asking about having an attorney on, but not an attorney that's just going to sell us their firm. Because I know we've been to a lot of these events and stuff like that, and these firms come in there and they're just like, you need to sign up with our biggest package and spend all this money. And you're like, I don't want to do that. I have my attorney coming on. His name's Blair, and he is absolutely incredible. Super knowledgeable. I think in my time with him, he said about 5 words to me. So he doesn't talk a lot, but he's willing to come on, and he's not going to sell his business. He's going to talk straight up about LLCs, setting up LLCs. Is it better to put them in Wyoming or Delaware or all these great things? How do I structure stuff? We are going to be able to throw out 1,000 questions to this guy, and I promise you, in probably 2 or 3 words, he'll answer them. So that's coming up. I think in 2 weeks we're going to have that call, 2 or 3 weeks. So love to see you guys there. And again, any other input you guys can bring, just drop it in the WhatsApp group. I love to hear about it. That's what keeps this party rolling. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Chris, any last words, my brother?
Yeah, if you guys need help, if you're interested in signing up for that card, I can put my referral link in there. When that gets booked up, we can throw my wife's referral link in there. I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have on it. I love talking about this stuff. I'm a nerd on the side of the real estate side for it. So any questions you guys have, just let me know.
Dude, bro, please put those in there. If you can drop them in the WhatsApp group, I would
Yeah.
appreciate that because I know that helps you guys, but that helps us too. And yeah, that would be awesome. It's a win-win. So right on, guys. Well, Chris, thanks again, brother. I really appreciate it, man. You guys all have a good rest of your night and a good rest of your week.